Here's what's happening now. Bright, breezy, and bracing for snow. Sort of. We'll explain what that means coming up. Paula?
Hey, Ben, because it's Valentine's Day, we have two love stories for you that show that long-lasting, enduring love can find you and stay with you at any age. Kimberly, you're going to love this one.
Okay, can't wait to hear it, Paula. Thank you. Also, first at 4, what's next after a White House shakeup? Detroit Congressman John Conyers is demanding answers. But at first, we have some breaking news to tell you about. A devastating car crash brings down power lines and traffic lights in Detroit. First at 4 starts right now. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kimberly Gillen. Today for Karen Drew. Witnesses on Detroit's west side were stunned as this crash played out, and the woman who police say caused the crash has died. Take a look here. This is brand new video just into the newsroom of the scene on Hubbell and West Chicago. Police say the woman driving the white car was speeding when she blew through a red light and crashed into another car. Power lines and traffic lights came down in the accident. The man in the car that was hit walked away unhurt. So far, police have not released the identity of the woman who died. At this hour, Flint Mayor Karen Weaver is about to meet with Governor Rick Snyder in Lansing. Weaver requested the meeting after the state decided to end financial assistance on water bills for Flint residents. Weaver thought residents should have received more notice. We're monitoring that meeting and we'll have updates as we learn more. The Local 4 defenders have been following the story of Rick Wershey, or White Boy Rick, for months now. After spending 29 years in prison, he had a face-to-face meeting with the head of the parole board, trying to move a step closer to freedom. Defender Kevin Dietz was there.
I'm Kevin Dietz at the Oaks Correctional Facility, where Richard Wershey has had his interview with the Michigan Parole Board.
What struck me was the professionalism of the interviewer, who was Mr. Egan, the chairman of the parole board. The way that Rick handled himself, he was very calm. He answered the questions appropriately.
Coming up at 5 o'clock, we're going to tell you what Wershey said that makes him think he will be released soon. The story today at 5.
Okay, Kevin. Well, it was a pleasant Valentine's Day today, but what about later tonight? Ben Bailey is here with a forecast. Hi, Ben.
Yeah, Kim, pleasant is probably an understatement. It's 50 degrees out there right now. We do have a breezy day. West winds are at 16, even 17 miles an hour, but it's warm enough that we don't calculate wind chills in temperatures like this. Sunshine's going to be fading as clouds start to thicken up. And yes, we will be dealing with some snow showers tonight, but probably in name only. We'll explain what's to come. The reality check settles in here in the next 2 days. We'll look at that. And 50s not once, but for days in the tail end of our 7-day forecast. That and more coming up in a few minutes, Kim.
Okay, Ben. The nation's capital has been abuzz all day today over the resignation of White House National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Devin Scillian is in the newsroom to bring us up to date here. And Devin, Flynn's resignation might not be the end of the story here.
Well, Kim, not if many leading Democrats in Congress have their way. Flynn is gone, but the political fires over what led to his resignation appear to just now be heating up. Flynn, of course, an outspoken retired Army general, under fire for reports that he talked with the Russian ambassador about U.S. sanctions that the Obama administration had enacted. That conversation took place before President Trump was inaugurated. Then it was revealed that Flynn misled Vice President Mike Pence about those conversations. The White House legal counsel has determined that Flynn did not do anything illegal, but because Flynn lost the trust of the president called for his resignation. Some Democrats actually believe there's a lot more to it. Leading Republicans right now seem satisfied.
I'll leave it up to the administration to describe the circumstances surrounding what brought to this point. I think the key is this, that as soon as this person lost the president's trust, the president asked for his resignation, and that was the right thing to do.
We need to know and to find out who authorized Flynn to speak to the Russians. We need to know why he lied to the administration and the American people.
The White House press spokesperson says President Trump was not aware in advance that Flynn would be talking with the Russians about sanctions. That's an important point to many Democrats. Meanwhile, the president himself has a different take on what's going on. He used Twitter today to complain that the real story here is the number of illegal leaks that are coming out of Washington. The president, by the way, has not spoken publicly about the Flynn resignation just yet. Kimberly, our coverage of this continues on Local 4 News at 5.
Yep, and we'll see you then, Devin. Thank you. All right, in more news, first at 4, we are on top of stories making headlines around the world. And we start in Romania, where U.S. Army tanks and soldiers continue to be deployed as the Trump administration tries to find its footing with Russia. This operation is called Operation Atlantic Resolve. It's designed to reassure NATO allies and other countries concerned about Russia. 500 U.S. troops will eventually be deployed in Romania on a 9-month rotation. Plenty of Americans will receive beautiful roses this Valentine's Day. If they come from Colombia, they were probably inspected very thoroughly by police. Colombian flower growers and police work around the clock each year to make sure no one is using your roses to smuggle cocaine out of the country. 165 tons of flowers have left Colombia since January. Police found nearly 200 pounds of cocaine hidden last year inside flower boxes. And NBC cameras caught several couples celebrating this romantic day in the city of Paris. Damp conditions didn't stop this couple from the U.S. from doing a little photo shoot in front of the Eiffel Tower.
This is the right place to bring the love of your life. This is you can definitely smell the love in this city.
Other couples spent time on the famous Pont d'Arts Bridge, attaching padlocks to lampposts as a symbol of unbreakable love. Back here at home, we are celebrating ageless love this afternoon with 2 local couples. One demonstrates the power of long-lasting romance, while the other shows us it's never too late to find the one you love. Paula Tutman shares their stories, I should say, and it's sure to warm your heart this Valentine's Day. Paula, you hinted to us that this is going to be great.
It is going to be great. I'm at American House in Southgate, and you can see the staff is getting ready for the big Valentine's Day dance this evening. My partner Josh and I have been here all day. I can tell you, amore is in the air. Lots of it going around, steeped in history. So to tell you these stories, I have to take you back. No, back further. No, back, all the way back to there.
I know a girl from Indiana, she's handsome and she's tall. She came to Michigan on a Wabash Cannonball.
Tokyo Bay, 1945, and the signing of the treaty that ended World War II. Just feet away on a neighboring ship, a heavily decorated war hero witnessed history, but had his Michigan sweetheart on his mind. The girl he married barely a year before. He'd made up a song for her. He still sings it today.
Her kiss was like a daisy that sparkled in the dew.
Today, George and Dorotha Hutchinson have been married 74 years. 10 children, 30 grandchildren, 30 great-grandchildren later. They have an incredible enduring love.
After we met, we sort of knew that we were made for one another.
Remember how pretty she was.
And a lot of people will want to know what the secret is.
Shut your mouth.
He tells you what he thinks and he does it. I mean, if he loves you, he loves you. That's it. And he still loves me.
I told you gotta keep your mouth shut.
George will tell you it's not enough to kiss once a day. You must kiss many times a day and never tire of it. But there is proof that a beautiful love story doesn't have to start 3/4 of a century ago to be epic, to endure. Because also at American House, a couple who didn't even meet until they were well into their 70s. Sasha the dog brought Lee and Eleanor together 6 years ago.
Actually, when we met, he had white fuzz on his face, too. She's Daddy.
I had a full beard. And
Both married before, they thought that muscle that allows you to fall in love had long since shriveled away.
You know, I figured, well, I had 30 wonderful, beautiful years, and getting back in the dating game, no way.
But then it happened. They fell in love.
But the more we talked, the more we found out that our lives were parallel.
They're still newlyweds, married just 2 years ago.
When you fall in love when you're young, it's a different love, okay? When you fall in love when you're older, it's more of a companionship, it's a binding, it's a little bit different. There's still the excitement there, there's still the happiness there, there's still the glow there, but it's just at an older age.
Yeah, you know what? Love finds you when it finds you. At the end of the day, is it really about flowers or balloons or who got chocolates, or is it about love, finding love and keeping love. And if you don't have that special love right now, or you think you'll never find love again, these couples show you that it can endure. Just wait. Don't panic. Love is coming. It'll find you. Doesn't have an age limit, Kimberly.
Right. Don't give up hope. And you're never too old to find love. You're never too old to stay in love. Paula, a beautiful, beautiful story. Thank you. Well, in spite of love stories like those two, not everybody is celebrating. Still ahead, an option for, why do we have to go here? The anti-Valentine's Day crowd. We'll have that coming up. And in health news, it's a problem that affects 1 in 3 Americans, and doctors are looking at a change in treatment they say could save 100,000 lives a year. But at first, auto insurance penalty. A new study finds how some companies are punishing drivers for accidents that aren't their fault. But before we go to break, we want to bring you some breaking news just into our Local 4 newsroom from Shelby Township. That's where 2 brothers have been rescued after falling through ice and into a lake. These are live pictures from the scene on Iroquois, Lake Iroquois, I should say. Police say one brother was pulled out and is being taken to the hospital for treatment. We do not know his condition at the time. The other brother was able to pull himself out. Be sure to stick with Local 4 and click on Detroit.com for developments on this breaking news story.
He's a coming up all new on Local 4 News at 5 and 6.
A 2-year-old Iraqi boy has been living in the U.S. for months without his parents. How he found refuge here in Michigan and the terrible circumstances that brought him here in the first place.
All right, Coco. Michigan drivers already pay high auto insurance bills, but what do you expect your rates to go up for an accident that isn't your fault? Well, the Consumer Federation of America analyzed rates in 10 cities, not including Detroit, and it found some of the biggest insurance companies are raising rates for good drivers who didn't cause the accident. In some cases, rates were jacked up $400. The Federation says Progressive is the worst when it comes to penalizing drivers, while State Farm never increased premiums for these accidents. In good health, some doctors are urging more aggressive treatment for people with high blood pressure. Right now, doctors try to keep patients' blood pressure at less than 140 millimeters of mercury. But a University of Utah study is looking at lowering that number to 120 millimeters of mercury. It says more than 100,000 lives could be saved with that change. It might be something to ask your doctor about if this is something that you're dealing with, and we're talking about high blood pressure here. All right, if you are a senior or caring for somebody who's older, pay close attention to how many drugs they're taking that might affect the brain. A new study from the University of Michigan found the number of seniors taking at least 3 drugs, such as opioids, antidepressants, and tranquilizers, has doubled over the last decade. Researchers say combining drugs can increase the risk of falls, as well as problems with driving, memory, and thinking. All right, time for another check on your forecast. What a splendid day today, not just because it's Valentine's Day, like that's a cherry on top, but I mean, the weather is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's good to see the sun. It's good to get to 50 in February. Yeah. But you know, we're going to do it again before the forecast is out. So this is not done. It's true. But things are going to change here in the short term. So hold on to your hats as we get through tonight, and that's not just a pun. We're talking wind speeds out there that are about 25 miles an hour, at least the gusts are right now. 25 in Flint, 24 in Howell, and gusting to 20 to 25 here on the east side. Cold front headed in this direction will drop these temperatures pretty quickly, but enjoy it while you can. It's 50 out there at Metro and not far behind here on the east side. 47 in Monroe, 48 in Mount Clemens, and mid-40s are some of our coolest readings out there into the north and west of the city. So you can see the precipitation that has started to form here coming out of the UP and northern parts of lower Michigan. Most of these are snow showers, but on the leading edge of this, you can see there is some rain. So as that front gets closer to us, of course, it will be after dark before we'll probably see these snow showers begin. But temperature's still going to be warm enough that there probably will be some rain mixed in with these snow showers when it gets here initially. The model has got this pretty blue, and I think it's probably a little bit colder than what it's actually going to be out there. So do expect to see more rain mixed in with this. Once the front passes, as we get closer to midnight, we should dry out behind that. So waking up to dry conditions tomorrow. There will be some snow showers in the afternoon as we finish out the day on Wednesday, but neither tonight or tomorrow afternoon are going to lead to any accumulation. So this stuff's going to be in name only, but keep in mind it will be out there, and after hitting 50 with sunshine in February, it's probably going to be a little bit of a shock to the system. 28 tonight for the overnight low, and breezy conditions too. 15 to 25 mile-an-hour winds. Highs will only get into the low 30s tomorrow. And even though we're going to start in the upper 20s with those winds, we go back to calculating wind chills. And here's how it's going to feel walking out the door this morning. Remember, it's 50 right now. It's going to feel like it's about 18 or 19 in the city starting out tomorrow morning. Wind chills in our south zone anywhere between about 14 and 17 for tomorrow. And in the west zone, still double digits, but not by much. 13 up in Flint, 16 in Canton, and there may be some single-digit wind chills in our north zone tomorrow. And if so, it's probably going to be in the north section of Sanilac County. Otherwise, 12 to 15 is generally how it's going to feel tomorrow heading out the door. So we've got 2 days in the 30s for highs, Wednesday and Thursday. Morning lows will be at their coldest here on Thursday, but then we ramp up again pretty quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4 days in the 50s, and at least 3 of those 4 days are coming with mostly sunny skies. Hard to believe, Kim.
It is hard to believe. All right, Ben, thank you. Still ahead, a sweet treat for anyone who rejects romance on Valentine's Day. And how hot is it in Australia? This police officer's new take on a traditional hot weather experiment is going viral. But at first, another health scare for actor Hugh Jackman. He's sharing his story and warning for all of you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. In today's trending stories, a warning from actor Hugh Jackman about the dangers of skin cancer. He posted this photo on Instagram after having another cancerous spot removed from his face. Jackman has been through this now 6 times. He credits frequent body checks and amazing doctors for spotting the trouble, and he wants all of you to remember the sunscreen and be careful of too much exposure to the sun. Good advice there. Well, Jackman's home country of Australia is dealing with a sizzling, scorching heat wave. There in the past, you may have seen people fry an egg on a sidewalk. Well, now a police officer is trying something new. The police officer put the egg in a frying pan on the hood of his car, and take a look there. You hear it sizzling. It cooked right up. The temperature has been at least 105 degrees there for nearly 3 weeks. This video has gone viral, and at least 3 million people have watched it since Friday. Pretty cool.
Why put it on the sidewalk if you can make breakfast?
That's right. Just go ahead and they probably don't eat grits there. I was going to say bring in some grits, but eggs and grits. All right. Well, earlier we celebrated Valentine's Day by bringing you the story of 2 special couples here in Michigan, but not everyone is in love with the holiday here. A bakery in Wisconsin is whipping up special cookies for people who might not feel like celebrating. They have messages like "Love stinks" or "Netflix is my love." The bakery isn't usually open Mondays, but opened yesterday, so Valentine's Day people, anti-Valentine's Day people, could prepare. Okay, I guess not everybody likes Valentine's Day. All right, well, we've got more coming up right after the break.
He's fun, active, curious, like so many of the other kids at our adopted school, Thurgood Marshall.
How old do you think I am?
20-something.
Thank you. You're my best friend.
But Donovan has experienced incredible tragedy in his young life.
For Donovan is alert at the hospital. However, he lost an eye.
We knew we could help change his life and restore his confidence, but we had no idea how much this strong, loving kid would change our lives.
I didn't know you were going to help his spirit and his soul and help my child physically.
Join me for a very special Help Me Hank report tonight at 11.
All right, finally, first at 4, a local teacher got a surprise today that she never saw coming.
Yeah, Janet Cadeau teaches health science at Farmington High School. Today, the school district named her one of its Teacher of the Year winners. She won a lease on a car, which she says will finally allow her family to take a long-awaited road trip.
Going to lease a car, rent a car, or whatever, but yeah, so yeah, I'll have to take a look and see what they have.
Well, she'll be able to choose from 30 cars. She hasn't decided yet, but definitely she says she wants something that can haul a camper, and one of the first places she's going is to Miami, apparently. So good for her.
Good call in February.
Yeah, very nice. Thanks for joining us for First at 4. We're back in a half hour with Local 4 News at 5. Inside Edition is next.